Hello, needle droppers, Anthony Fantano here, and this is the video where I talk about my experience seeing the band Sun. Now, I'm not going to stand up in this video, I'm going to sit down, no jump cuts, no freaky deaky crap. I'm just going to talk about what I experienced and what I saw because I don't want to be too jokey because I just don't want to take away from the detail and the justice that I want to give to this show, even though I know there's really nothing I can say that will be as descriptive and as life-changing as the real thing.
Needle Drop is a music reviewer, culture critic, and commentator. He started posting videos back in the early 2010s, reviewing every new album that came out regardless of genre. He has garnered millions of followers on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and social media as a whole. He is one of the most respected and heard voices when it comes to music and entertainment today. It's safe to say with many of his accomplishments that Needle Drop has changed the face of music reviews and culture forever, and has moved it forward, being one of the main influences for many of the content and content creators on the platform today. He reached such a large level that his reviews are seen with fear and awe, like the score can make or break an artist's career. When everybody was hating on Chance's new record, if Needle Drop came out and gave it a 10, everyone's opinion would have changed. You can tell just by the jokes in his comment section about how they're waiting for Fantano to review an album so they can have an opinion on it. This is the power he came to wield. But how did he get here? And why is he so influential? And what did the journey look like? These are the things we're going to explore in this video today. The first thing we can look at with Anthony's channel is his work ethic. Nobody can deny the productivity and the prolific nature of the Needle Drop. The man is a content machine that consumes so much content, whether it be music or the entirety of YouTube itself. And he spews out content like nobody else either. Anthony's a prime example of the potential of the internet. So long as they are creative and passionate enough, normal creators now have enough power to push an output of content that can rival the output of big-name magazines and media sources. You don't need a team, you just need one really passionate person and the internet is yours. From the get, the Needle Drop would review albums from so many different genres. So anybody coming to his channel for a specific review would be exposed to other genres, which was pretty cool. Metal, rap, pop, Japanese pop, underground, experimental, noise, jazz, whatever it was that you were looking for, you could find it or some variation of it on his channel. His open-mindedness to music and art gradually grew infectious and helped morph a generation that got very interested in many things, kind of like a music version of the Idea channel. The next thing is that Needle Drop did a lot of collabs, working with channels like Dehh and Hip Hop, having interviews with other big YouTubers like YMS, and just generally being seen in the community, in the comment sections, almost everywhere. I mean, sure, he was no Justin Y, but the Needle Drop could be seen frequenting a lot of different YouTube videos. Releasing lots of contents on YouTube can help build your presence, and since Needle Drop was really one of the first to start reviewing music on YouTube, he got a leg up and a head start on the platform with that as well, and really monopolized it. These are one of the things that really made him much bigger and began earning him a name for himself. Pretty soon, lots of people started putting out content like Fantano. People were doing reactions/reviews of albums online, putting up think pieces, having a similar approach like him when it came to reviews, and generally taking the platform more seriously for things like music and music reviews. And even outside of music in things like movies, such as tech and so forth. This leads to the next point about Needle Drop, his understanding of the internet. The internet is an entity unto itself, filled with the most bizarre, beautiful, and hideous things you could ever see. People come on it to do many things. There are movements, cultures, trends, beliefs, groups, communities, and so much more on the internet. And Anthony has a good grasp of it all. The fact that he was reviewing almost every album that came out would help him trend within different niches. So that helped him. But that was not the only thing. Anthony also understood the more abstract and strange thinking and humor of the internet and could encapsulate it perfectly. Look at some of his videos on his old and now defunct YouTube channel, That Is The Plan, where he would do things from a meme lord perspective. Many of his shit posts on there would poke fun and criticize other creators or perspectives in a lighthearted and humorous way. All of this he did on his channel. That is, of course, until he was falsely accused of being an alt-right racist by some idiotic journalist at Fader, and he was forced to take it down. Either way, this understanding of the internet and how it works, and being able to ingratiate himself in it with humor and understanding really helped make Fantano a mainstay on the internet. Someone who's part of its ethos even. Fantano understood the trends, the memes, the humor, and the structure and utilized that to make his channel even bigger. In doing these things, reviewing multiple genres, having a good understanding of the internet, Anthony created his own niche and fan base on the internet that followed him the way they would normally do with celebrities or people who aren't music reviewers. Maybe it's because of the internet this happened, but think about it. When was it ever normal to be a fan of a music critic the way Fantano has fans? Beforehand, music critics or reviewers never really garnered the attention or respect or love that Fantano gets, save somebody like Robert Christgau. At best, someone would respect the reviewer, but never on the level that Fantano has. It's to the point that his scoring system is taken so seriously that it could severely hamper the viewpoint of an album. Not always, but it can. And of course, there are rare exceptions. Fantano gave Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy a 6, and Kanye is still doing good. But to be fair, it is Kanye, and the first iteration of that review came out when Fantano was still building his fan base, and Kanye was at the peak of his career. The people who follow Fantano are generally music nerds, like him. People who love music, all music, and just generally consume a lot of content on the internet. Anthony's infectious love of music and content would influence and affect lots of other people, me being one of them. They all have their own sense of humor too, and there are sarcastic jokes that have become insider staples of that community, such as, "Too late, Anthony, I already made my opinion on this album," or "You only gave this album an 8 because it's good," or "Berating them because of blank and calling them blank is not an album review, Fantano, feeling a bit uncomfortable." These sarcastic, snarky jokes are some of the best I've read on the internet, and the fact that they are a staple and an insider in his fan base shows how dedicated they are to him and the culture they fostered within that community. And it also shows the influence he has, which most people don't. I mean, most artists don't even have this type of influence either, let alone regular people and reviewers. I mean, the guy even has his own subreddit. Seriously, I don't know why there isn't a name for Fantano fans the way Beyonce has the Beehive or something like that. The next big thing about Fantano is how he changed the perspective people had towards YouTube. YouTube back in the days when it first came out was not universally respected. Sure, it was a place people would go on to watch videos, but it wasn't a hub and platform where everyone would congregate on for just about everything the way we do today. Back then, you went on YouTube for cat videos, and more cat videos. It was a place for mindless, simple humor, and no more than that. Channels like Fantano broke through the mold and took a risk by providing different forms of content on the platform. Fantano was, as far as I know, the first real music review channel. As he started out humbly, he was not known much but for a few people who were really into music. Like, for the most part, you had to be a music head to really know who Fantano was. As the years went by though, Fantano grew and grew. Pretty soon, it wasn't just music aficionados who knew who he was, it was also other artists, and then he began to become a mainstay on the internet. Slowly but surely, he grew from a simple seed to the melon lord patch that we know today. The other thing that I'd be remiss in not talking about is the rating scale. Nobody back then, and even now, was as unpredictable as Fantano, and the rating scale was one of the things that he was unpredictable with. That rating scale became famous, and in part, I believe, was one of the things that really made his rise so meteoric. Everybody would tune in to see what their favorite artist got, or an artist they didn't like. Sometimes you tune in and it would be exactly what you thought, and other times you tune in and it'd be something totally different. Artists you thought deserved a certain score would either score higher or lower than that score. After a while, you didn't know what to expect. Sometimes you'd believe an artist deserved at least an 8, but got a 7 or a 6. Other times you thought something was bad and the artist got a 7 or even higher. So you were always unsure what would happen. Remember, Kendrick's Damn got the same score as Lil Pump's debut album. Let that one sink in. Fantano would eventually explain the score, and it goes as follows. 0 to 4 is bad, 5 is on the fence, and 6 to 10 is good. 0 is just horrific, and 4 is not liked but not as bad as a 0. 6 is liked a little, and 10 is Fantano hitting Nirvana. The people who've gotten a 10 from Fantano are Kendrick Lamar, Swans, Kid Cudi collabing with Kanye, Def Grips, and Daughters. The other thing about Fantano is that he didn't care what others thought. He did as he pleased and didn't try to be someone who would fit in, like others did. I mean, remember, he gave Kanye a 6 when everybody was riding his nutsacks. Fantano has always been honest, and that's also one of the things that drew people to him, whether they hated him or loved him. Strong emotions will always draw you to someone. And there's another thing that made him so popular. Needle Drop became an alternative to many of the other mainstream reviewers that had become stale. It's typical within a medium when one group has become stale, a newcomer will come in to shake things up and people will flock to that newcomer because of that. Anthony Fantano with Needle Drop did just that. All in all, these are the reasons, as far as I can see, that have helped made Needle Drop what it is today, and made Needle Drop such a mainstay in YouTube and internet culture today. He is one of those pioneers who in the early days of the internet took a risk on a brand new platform and did something different. And that some might have thought of, but didn't actually do. In his album reviews and the additional content he's given to the internet in the past few years, Fantano has changed the internet and created a community of fans who love music, memes, and more memes. He has gone on to influence the way things are done on the YouTube platform and people who make content on YouTube. And many people have moved to the platform to do similar things like Fantano or build off of what he was doing after seeing the success he had gotten on there. And for that, the Melon Lord deserves praise. His rise wasn't too bad. I'm feeling a light 9 to a strong 8 out of 10 on his career. So, transition.
Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content and analyses just like this. Be safe, loving, and prosperous. Peace.